Hi, I'm Stuart Clark, the Managing Director of Russell & Russell.
And I'm Yvonne Webb of Action Coach Business Coaching. And together we are your co-hosts and sponsors of Glasgow Business Stories. We hope you're loving Glasgow Business Stories. So if you are, please do us a favour and subscribe. New episodes drop every 2 weeks, and we want you to hear all the wonderful stories from the businesses here in Glasgow. So please subscribe now. So, David.
Hello.
Welcome to Glasgow Business Stories. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you for having me.
So let's get started by you telling us who you are and what you do.
So I'm David Wilson. Officially, my new title is the CEO of Certum, but that's pretty much a hat for all jobs. I've been there for coming up on 22 years now. Founded the business back with my business partner back in the day. We had been working in IT for about a year together. I was actually his apprentice, which was pretty cool. A year in the business, and we decided to start out on our own. And that's pretty much the story of where we started. It's pretty cool.
And in the early days then, was it quite reactive in terms of IT support?
Totally different game altogether. So the early days of IT, I really liked. And it was like relaxed pace, no pressure, no stress. A wee bit of stress, but not like all you had to do was earn your salary at that point. But IT was like, there's so much reliance on it now. Like back in those days, it was still really, I wouldn't say it was fresh, but it was just in its infancy. When something went wrong, they would phone you up. Like, they were almost like a friend as well. So the clients, still got my first client. So the first client would phone us up. Well, how's things? Oh, this isn't working. Can you come out and do this for us? Yeah, no problem. So you get in your car, you drive out. You wouldn't even look at it at first. It would just be like, okay, we know the problem's here and I'll fix it when I'm in. That's like secondary to why I'm here. I'll sit and have a coffee, have a chat, which was really good because you got to know them really well. And then it's like, right, I'll fix it. No problem, fix it. You'd sit for another 5-10 minutes. You'd know who their kids were. You'd know all the things that you needed to know. And then you'd leave and you go to the next job. And it'd be like 2 or 3 of them a day. Fast forward, that's completely changed. It's like the evolution of IT has completely changed. But those were really good days. I really enjoyed those days. It was like you got to know your every client, which you can't do now. You got to know them really, really well. Like what made them tick, like what their favourite sports were, what teams they were into, all that sort of stuff. So it was really good in that side of it. And then the evolution changes completely. So yeah, I really enjoyed those days. They were really good.
And what made you start your business in the first place?
That's a good question. So I'll put this the right way. We were sick of being break fix, constantly having seen people's businesses like going down, problems after problems. It was just like you're constantly, we could see as they got bigger as a business, the company we were working for, that there was starting to get a bit more pressure on the IT side of things. It was going to be, you could see where it was going to go. It was like the AI journey. You can see where that's going to go. You could see it in front of you. And all these break fix issues were starting to cause pain in businesses. Now, as much as we had really good relationships, you'd still sit and have a coffee. There would be pain points where businesses would be down at that point, and the technology wasn't brilliant in those days. And we thought we had a better way to do it. We genuinely did. So we went to the business that we were working for and said, look, we think you should do it this way. This is a more proactive method of managing networks. Like, let's get on top of it. There weren't really systems to manage that sort of stuff, so it would have to be done in person. So we went with our proposal, and it was a flat no. It's like, no, we can't do that. We don't have the staff to do that. Like, we had a way to make that we thought we could make it work. Ultimately, that business then turned around to us and said, look, there's going to be a management buyout if you want to be part of it. We're really young and naive at that point, so we bought into it. It never came to fruition. So we were a wee bit disheartened at that point, and then we left, and we thought, you know what, the plan that we started with should really be the plan that we have going forward. So we take that proactive approach in, which means then you're looking after clients at that point. There's not this, oh, it's broken, like get out here. It's like you take the pain away from that. So we had a method that we would do it in person. We'd go around all the clients that we had very early on, and we'd spend like a half day on site going through their server, speaking to the business, like, what pain points have you got? What challenges have you got? Like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then we'd send them a nice report after it. And it worked really, really well to a certain point. And then we got bigger, and it's harder to manage that. So that's probably been maybe about 5 years in, where we're probably still that size of business. Systems started to evolve a wee bit at that point. And that's when we really started to really evolve as a business, because we started to use the proactive tools at that point. We were early pioneers of the proactive monitoring type platforms. So that's why we thought we could do it. That was ultimately, we wanted to be the best at what we could do. And that was always the dream, was like, be the best. And it still is. Like, we want to be the best at what we do. How do we achieve that? How do we make sure that we retain the clients that we take on board? And again, we've still got our first client, so we must be doing something right.
And had you thought about owning your own business before that, or was it the buy-in, although it failed, was that the kind of first time you thought, well, actually, maybe I could own the business? And
It was the first time. Yeah.
so did that, even though it failed, did that give you the kickstart and the confidence to go, actually, let's just set it up by ourselves?
Yeah, well, probably wasn't that big a vision.
Yeah.
It was probably we were a wee bit burned with how we'd been treated at that point. We thought, well, do you know what? We've taken bank loans out for this, and we didn't earn a lot of money back in those days. It was like, but I'm now stuck with a bank loan. What do I do with it? Well, let's go and do something with it. That could pay the salaries for the first 3 months, 6 months, and let's go and try it. If it doesn't work, Francis was really positive about let's get on with this. I was a wee bit more like, whoa, wait a minute, mate. I've got a mortgage here. Let's look at this. And he's like, come on, we can do it. We can do it. So he was really positive, and he kind of dragged me to the party a wee bit. And then day one, we got our first sale. So it was like, this is amazing, right? So we got our first sale, and from that literally that day, it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew, and we never went into that first investment that we put in, that first loan. That just stayed in the bank. We just kept it there, and we just brought in client after client after client, and that's the way it grew. In all honesty, we didn't really have a big plan of this is what we're going to build and this is what it's going to look like, and like what does that landscape look like. It was completely alien to me at that point.
And so what was your sales and marketing at that point? Were you just knocking on doors and the first day you just landed one? Or?
Yeah, no, well, I've always been, out of the two of us in the relationship, I would say he's not the people person, I was the people person. So he left that part to me. He was still really good with people, but he didn't enjoy that aspect of it. He preferred the technology. So I still say this today, he's one of the best troubleshooters I've ever worked with. I mean, like the things that he taught me, I still couldn't keep up with. He could just put his head into a problem and it would be fixed. So you knew no matter what business we went into, he would be able to, at the back end of it, fix if there was a problem. So we'd built up a good bunch of clients based on contacts that we had working in IT. And it was at that point, it was door knocking and going in and saying, look, because you used to sit and having a coffee with them. So you'd sit down and go, cool, let's have a coffee. We're on our own now. Do you fancy coming on board? If it doesn't work, you can go somewhere else. We're not putting you in a contract kind of thing. And it just kind of grew from there. It's really good. And I say we've still got our first client, we've still got our second client, third client. I think we've still got our fifth client. And now that even the fifth client, they came on board, family-run business out in Hillington. And the evolution is the family used to run it, or the dad used to run it. Now it's the son that runs it, and he's a friend. We go on holiday, we go to football together. So it's, yeah.
And what did you learn in those first 5 years then?
You need to be hungry. Like, you need to really work hard. Like, we never took our foot off the gas. All the things that nobody prepares you for, like the real hard graft, learning things that you'd never thought you would have to learn. Finance, like, God, that was never part of my equation. Still not, if I'm honest. But we had to learn so much in that point. How to sell, how to make sure we got in front of people. And like, even when there's quiet points, you think you're doing well, you still have to keep the foot in the gas. You can't lift off. You've just got to keep at it. You make mistakes, and like, mistakes are part of growth. Like, you have to make mistakes. You have to learn from them. So we learned a lot of mistakes early on. Not anything that affected clients. If there was anything we made a mistake with, we put our hands up to it very, very quickly, and we put the time in to fix it. So we did make mistakes, and you learn from those mistakes. But what we learned was, like, you're going to have to work hard for this. This is not going to come easy to you. And there was a lot of IT firms at that time, competition. So how do you differentiate yourself from everybody else? Which, again, we still do.
And how's the business evolved since then? Talk us through that.
It's a monster since then. So the tech space changed massively. So over the 22-year window, we've seen it go from like old servers with PCs that barely worked and RAID sets that fall apart and all sorts of stuff, to the evolution of the cloud starts to come into it. And you're looking at it and you're going, you look at it and go, how do we make money out of this? Because you've got to make money, you've got to progress. How do we run this as a business? And our model was that we always wanted recurring revenue coming in every month, so that if there are quiet points, you're covered, your staff are covered, your clients are covered as well, the bills are going to get paid. But the evolution of cloud really changed the business, like massively changed the business and how we delivered services. The first one was obviously 365 and how we go to market with that, and away from old box products you installed and people lost keys for, and that was just horrendous those days. And then everything starts to move into cloud services. Azure starts to come into play, AWS, all these different services, and you're looking at it and you're going, actually, there's so much more you can do in the cloud than you can on an old server. but it comes with problems. Security, monitoring, alerting, infrastructure you need to build as a business. We've always been massive proponents of investing back into the business. We never take that foot off the gas. Systems that run the business, we've got a huge infrastructure. And when I talk about infrastructure, I don't just talk about the systems, I talk about the people, the departments, the processes that link into the software, through from first line right the way through to the account managers and how they work. Everything's linked as a huge infrastructure, and it works really, really well. But the cloud helped us get there at gathered pace. So much so that we've gone full circle on it. We've built out our own, we call it our SOP build out in 365. So we can take clients through in like a modular build of 365 to build out their security, so that they as a business are starting to move forward as well. So that's been really, really good for us. It's been really good for the clients as well, that they can go on the journey with us. And everybody in the business is trained on how that's built out and how it's deployed. Account managers know exactly what it is. And that goes through evolutions as well. One thing I will say is the cloud is much more reliable than having physical servers and all the things that used to fall apart in the early days. So the cloud's been really good from that aspect. And it's let us support clients at a different level. It definitely has.
So you're saying your account managers know the product as well, do you know, whereas I think, you know, maybe in other businesses, they've not got that knowledge. They're just out selling something or trying to sell a product, but you guys have got that knowledge throughout. It's
a tech layer. So yeah, we're using lots of different ways that the guys get empowered with that. So we're like an oil tanker. That's probably the best way to explain it. A big change in the business has to go through a set process. It has to go through, R&D. It has to go through how do we deliver it? How do we deploy it? How do we train in it? First thing is, can we support it? Can we install it? That's like the first parts of it. How will it impact the clients? How do we migrate clients from that platform to this platform as a whole? We try not to do it that often, but there's certain products that come to the market and it's just like, we have to be on this journey. We have to be. So a business, things that I hate, right? Here's an empty in my brain. The evolution of tech is like, you're online now. Everybody's online. So there's you're a target no matter who you are, what you do, you're a target. They're coming after you. And everybody thinks, oh, I'm not a target. They're not after my business. Everybody's after you. And it's like automated stuff. It's not like I'm coming after you. I was sick of speaking to businesses after an attack. And I'm like, look, I've offered you and you've not taken. You just don't want to do. You're like that early part of, I don't trust the cloud. I don't trust this. How do you get past that mindset? And it's taken time to get to that point. But now, when I take a client on board, it's a journey with us. It's not just the evolution of IT is not, if something breaks, we will fix it, or we'll keep an eye on it. And if it breaks, we'll be on top of it and we'll respond quickly. It's so much more than that. There is so much more to supporting the clients that we support. Are we secure? Like, we're the keys to the kingdom. How do we stop our end clients getting breached? Are you got trust in that we've got the security in place? Like, all the infrastructure that we build internally, the standards, the ISO standards, all that sort of stuff it's layered into the business. So right the way through to account management level, they know how that works. They know how that works. It's a massive investment into the business, but they know how it works. So when they're talking to clients, they're talking like it's me talking. So I understand your standards. I understand what this means. Well, we want to put you on the roadmap. The roadmap looks like this. You can be on it for 18 months. You can say, I only want to do this part of it. We're fine with it. No problem. But I know by taking them on that journey, I'm not leaving them open. I'm not leaving the back door open. As long as they go on the journey, we'll keep them moving forward with the threat landscape. Ultimately, is where we're looking at. Yeah, the support side of it just ticks along. That's like, we're awesome at that. I can't say enough about how good we are at support. But the next part of the journey is the account management side of it. How do we build that? How do we make sure the clients are moving forward? And it's not a sales pitch. It's totally not a sales pitch. I don't like anything getting pushed down my throat. We all experience it. We consume services. And people are at your door, they're like, you need this, you need that, or they're slagging you, or they're doing something. You don't need to do that. It's like, here's what we see in the marketplace. That's where the problems are. Here's the solutions. Do you want us to look at them, fix it for you? That's how it moves forward.
When you're saying everyone's a target, I've heard it described as like, it's not necessarily they're targeting your car. It's like someone's going down the street and just trying every single door. And there's like, if yours is unlocked, they're going to take it, whether they want that car or not. They're just going to go, right, well, it's open.
Yeah, absolutely. So we make decisions internally based on what we see in the threat landscape and what we experience in clients. And like, clients get hacked. You can't do anything about it. If they don't want to protect themselves, I can't protect them. Like, I try, but you can't take them there unless they want to go there. It's generally after they've been hacked, that's when they want to fix it. But yeah, it's the thing with security is we see what happens. So we build our roadmaps to suit, so that like, we can take that away, we can take that away, we can take this away, we can take that part away, and it's just an evolution of the roadmap. But it's opportunistic. It's somebody will make a mistake in the business. Somebody will click something they shouldn't click. They don't know they've clicked it, or it's a botnet attack, or whatever it is, or it's something at a higher level. And I've been in at the higher level ones, and they're horrible. Where it is actually an organisation going after you, and they want your data. That's what they're after. Not corporate data. They want your PII. That's what they're after. So it's about when you educate people on this and you take them on that journey, they start to understand it. And that for me is like the biggest part of the journey. It's all very well supporting somebody and saying you're break fix, but what about the other part of it? The other part of it is, I would say, even more so important, that they should be looking after the network. They should understand the fundamentals of, if I don't have this, and this doesn't have to be thousands in spend, if I don't have this, I'm not protected. You wouldn't leave the vault open in the bank for people to walk by. So let's lock the doors on it. Let's make
Prevention
it tighter.
is better than cure, isn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely.
And have you seen an uptake then following things like last year, like the M&S and those like high profile ones? Has there been an uptake on people going, actually, I'm more concerned about this because they've seen those things in the press?
There is, but we've been pushing that market for probably 4 or 5 years and getting people to a place. Now the tools are getting a bit cheaper, so people are actually going, do you know what? It makes sense that I should have this. Detect and respond tools like sleep at night stuff is what I'm all about. That if you can sleep at night and take a bit of stress off, I'm all for that. So the tools are getting a lot better that we're deploying out in the marketplace as well, and they're a lot more affordable. One of the benefits are being part of the group that we're part of. We can really push the market, the prices down on it, which other vendors can't do, which is really good.
I'm interested in the attacks and the threat landscape, as you call it.
It's terrifying.
They're becoming more sophisticated. What are you seeing?
So there's the low level ones. I call them low level. They're painful. So somebody clicks a link. They steal your MFA token. Everybody thinks, I've got MFA, I'm protected. No, you're not. Like, you're absolutely not. So they've stolen the MFA token at this point. You've got no other protection in place. Somebody's sitting in a mailbox, and it's the accountant's mailbox, it's the finance, it's the FD, it's the MDs, it's somebody. So they sit there, and they can sit for 3 months. They don't have to do, let's send out that spam email to everybody. They can sit there for 3 months, 4 months. They're trying to sell the credentials for that account on the dark web during that period, so that other people can come in and make use of those accounts. You won't know if you don't have the tools. You won't know that somebody's in that mailbox. And then they wait and they go, right, okay, now I'm going to send out an invoice, and it comes from the person's mailbox. It's coming from them, so it's a genuine mail. And it goes to a supplier and they say, look, there's your invoice, that's the payment details, blah, blah. A supplier makes the payment and it's done. These are all the ones that just cause pain. They're low level, but they still cause pain. And then you've got the ones that we've been involved in as well, like the Lockbit group, which is terrifying if you knew how it worked. It's honestly, I'd never want a business to go through that. It breaks relationships. It gives you sleepless nights. It puts the business owners through so much stress. I mean, I've been there. I've worn that T-shirt. Lockbit Group had 300 staff all across Europe, and they've got departments. So they look for vulnerabilities. They find a vulnerability. They pass it on to the next team. That team then try and break into the network. They get in. They pass it on to the next team. They're then in the network, and they're going laterally, moving from machine to machine to get credentials. They're there at that point, and when they're doing that, they're encrypting everything as they move. So all the traces they're erasing as they move, because you can't get back into it at that point. You're scunnered. And then they get to the keys to the kingdom, and they're so smart. Like the evolution of it is unreal from what it was back in the day to now. They drop files, they run a script, and it basically goes after PII. That's what they want. They want your employees' contracts, bank details. They want places of residence. They want the stuff that they can use to leverage you. Driving licenses. They know how to pick this off. They're not after your corporate data and such. Maybe for some of the higher ones like M&S and stuff like that, but it's the PII they want. They want that information. So when they take that information, they then put it on the dark web, and they put a timer on you, and they go, pay the ransom. It's Bitcoin. Pay it, or we're going to release it. And they do. I mean, they absolutely do. So the last one that I was involved in, really good business, looked after them for a long, long time. It's a horrible experience, and the data was sitting there. Now, we were really lucky with that one. They didn't actually get the data offline. They said to us they did. But they'll show evidence of passports of their staff, like to show that they've got that. The business then is distressed because they've got to then lay a case with the ICO. Are they going to get fined? Are they not going to get fined? They're dragged through the press because all the cyber companies watch what's happening online. And then before you know it, the Daily Record's picked up. All these different places pick it up. It is horrific. You never want to go through it. And that's why we've got our roadmap, because I never want a business that values that to ever go through that again. It's horrific when you go through it.
If you were to make a guess then, what percentage of businesses would you say are properly protected?
If I'm honest, 50% value it, 50% don't. But we're trying to educate. It's an education thing. It's maybe, I wouldn't say it's an older mindset. It's not. It's an education piece. You need to continually talk to people about it. They see it as a point of, it's going to cost me money. Yeah, the flip side of that is it costs you so much more reputationally. Like, it's horrific to go through it. I mean, it's utterly horrific. And when they get to the other side of a breach, they go, I never want to go through that again. That was horrific.
And the horse is already bolted.
It's too late. It's too late at that point. And there's never a point where you can say, oh, we got away with that, because you don't get away with it. You don't. And every business looks at it differently and what it means to them and how it means. It's like, what's the prestige of that business? How long have they been going for? Is it going to make it into the press? Because if it was into the press, that's damaging. It's horrific.
I suppose it's like insurance. It's like, you have to pay it, but you hope you never have to use it.
Yeah.
It's there for peace of mind.
Yeah. So all our account managers, and again, we're going through 3 refreshes of what that looks now, how they work with the clients. And again, not sales. So we're bringing more technical into that part of it. So it's more of a technical solution that the customer's then seeing. How do we move forward? How do we get to a place where it's not scary? And we're not having to pay thousands and thousands of pounds a month for a bit of, like, we'll keep it safe. So our SOC build takes a client with the tools they've already got, I would say probably about 95% of the journey. And they can do it over a period of time, which is good. Or they can do it quite quickly, and I'm pretty comfortable at that point. And then you just layer in some nice tooling and they're covered. At that point, you can go, I don't need to worry about this now. And then as things change, as they invariably do, we can then go back to our SOP build and say, right, we're going into flavour 2 of it. We speak to a client, like, your module last time was this. There's a couple of tweaks and changes here we need to make. We're just going to do them because it's easier, rather than looking at like you're trying to rinse a client all the time. It's not about that. It's about keeping you secure is the main thing.
So you started off with 2 of you.
Yep.
How big is the team now?
It varies, about 50.
50.
About 50.
And how have you found your leadership journey going through that? Because I guess at the start you didn't have experience in that. Would that be fair?
No, we didn't. So you learn on the job, I suppose. You make mistakes, you learn from those mistakes. I'm a big people person. Like, I want to look after my clients, which in turn looks after your staff. You don't ever want to have to make people redundant or anything along those lines. So we've always tried. It's a tough job being in the service industry, right? It's really tough. They work hard. They've got things coming at them all over the place, like expectations, all sorts of stuff that you're like, well, wait a minute, the service is this. The service is really good and it covers all of this. The expectation keeps going up and up and up, and you've got to keep coming to that bar. So the people are really important in the business. You have to learn how to do that. Ultimately, you have to learn how people tick and what makes them want to stay and what makes somebody want to leave and how did they get that experience. So these are things that we're constantly changing. The next evolution of employee is totally different to the last evolution of employee. Being an employer for 22 years, it's just totally different now than what it used to be. Working from home, all that sort of stuff. So you learn a lot. You learn a hell of a lot, if I'm honest.
And as CEO, is your are you still have interaction with all 50 team members?
Yeah. Probably not day to day with the help desk. So we're structured really well. We've got a really good senior leadership team. So there's, from each department, there's help desk manager, and then under the help desk manager, there's team leads. So they manage their teams within the help desk, and then they report into the help desk manager. Help desk manager reports into head of tech. Head of tech reports into myself. I've got head of account management, and we've also got head of service, who manages all the field engineers and the projects. We've got varying levels of account management. I'll come back to that one. We've also got, who else have we got? We've got an internal systems engineer who's responsible for building out all the systems internally, works really closely with head of tech. And we have somebody that's been promoted up to internal, I always forget his title, internal process engineer. And that's more about quality than it is anything else. So keeping the standards, the bar really, really high, which is something that we always focus on.
And when did you start to build out that kind of senior management team then?
Probably when we hit about 30 staff. That's when we started to build it out. Slowly, we grew into that. We didn't just go, let's get a management team. So we grew into that. We realised you need a help desk manager to just manage it. And head of tech has always been there, but head of tech was Francis. So Francis wore many hats like I did. So he was head of tech, he was head of the help desk, he was head of field engineers, projects, new products. He did all that sort of stuff. So it was too much. It was too much. It was way too much. So as we started to grow again, we either promote internally or we bring somebody else into the job. I'm a big fan of promoting internally where we can.
And how easy or hard was it to, if you've been head of help desk and you've been head of these things, to then step back or pass it on to someone else?
There's a control thing. So there's a real control thing where you're like, this is my business, this is my practice. Like somebody might come in and mess it up. So we were really protective about that. So we micromanaged a bit too much. You learn from that. People can't work with micromanage. They've got to flourish, right? They've got to make mistakes like we did. You've got to encourage them when they make mistakes, how we fix it and how we do the right thing. Honesty is a massive thing in our place. Like if there's a mistake made, put your hand up. You can fix an honest mistake. If somebody's trying to cover it, you can't.
So you fix it for next time.
Yeah, absolutely. You learn from it. Yeah, you learn from it. Now, that's an ethos that we've got throughout the business with clients. When you're dealing with clients, if something's happened or something's not right, be honest. Even if they don't want to hear the honest approach, be honest about it. I've always thought you can deal with somebody telling you the truth. You can make decisions based on the truth. You can't on something that's not factual if it's been masked or smoked or hidden. So let's be honest about it. Right, we've made a mistake here. We'll fix this just now. We'll get it back online. Here's a plan. This is what it looks like. Constant updates. And that's whether it's internal in the business or external to the business. But yeah, we micromanage probably a wee bit too much in the beginning, and it swamps you, because then how do we release like privilege to people and let them do their jobs? Like the senior management team are people that have been with us for a long time. They've seen the business grow. And sometimes you look at people and you go, can they grow with the business as we grow? Can they scale up? So we're trying to give them the tools now to let them scale up. And I tell you what a journey, because like I'm seeing people around me flourish that I thought they might struggle with that, but they're not. They're coming into the role and they're really moving forward with it. Some of like even the holder heads that you think, we're changing all this tech around you. Are you going to keep up with this? And they are. Somebody turned around to me the other day and said to me, I wish I was 10 years younger, because the next leg up is amazing. It's like where we're going next. And I'll talk about that towards the end of this, but where we're going next is like, I don't really want to retire, because the next part is really cool. It is really, really cool. So the management team have grown and I'm seeing continual growth, but I let them manage their own areas now.
I guess that's their sole focus. They can invest a lot more in it and might come up with things that you guys wouldn't have necessarily thought of as well if they're empowered.
So that's key. So Francis is now retired out of the business. He was, as I say, he was excellent and got us to a certain point. He was probably just at that point where he was burned with the journey. It happens, I get it. So somebody stepping into the role is a bit younger, you go, like, where's this going to go? Switched on, smart, sharp, like knows how the tech industry works, likes his tooling, likes his tech stack, like, and is totally focused from what he's learned from Francis about how that goes into clients and the impact when you put it into clients and how we support it. Totally switched on to that, and has got a team under him that is absolutely all on board with that. Like, they think completely different from when we started the business. And I'm like, succession's good here. This is looking really, really good for the future.
So you had a fairly significant change a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Talk us through that.
So October 24, Francis had probably for a couple of years, you could see he was tired with it. It was just, we'd done it for a long time. It was hard graft. The things that people don't tell you about, the sleepless nights, the constant sleepless nights, the stress, the worry. Like, we run a well-oiled machine. We've always done things legitimately, tax, payments, wages. We never messed about with the finance side of the business. It was always like on point, and it still is. But it's a service industry, and its expectation is, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. It wasn't just clients putting pressure on us. We put pressure on ourselves to still maintain the best, industry best. Everybody looks at that. Everybody wants the sauce that makes it all work. So there was lots of acquisition talk, and I don't know whether it made him turn his head, but he was tired at the end of it. He was just like, mate, I've had enough. And we had a really good relationship. And I thought, I can't take him. I can't drag him along and make it. It's not fair to do that. So let's go in the next leg up. What does that look like? So it looks like an acquisition of some point. We won a lot of work off the back of acquisitions, which is really good for us. We see there's been a lot of IT companies and MSPs that have been bought out by the big players, and it goes wrong. Service drops from like a 2-hour response to a 2-day response. We see it all the time. We're like, right, that's good. That company's been acquired. We know that company. It'll come. We don't even need to market to it, and it does come to you. I didn't want that for my clients. I've got 22 years of experience with clients that are mates, that are like rely on what we do at like a really high end provider level to, I just want my tickets answered. I've got good relationships there. My staff as well. That's like probably the hardest part is your staff when they go through this journey is like, are they going to get made redundant? Like people who've been with me a long time, like worked hard. How do you make sure that they flourish in the next place? So all the big players over the years, they knock on your door and you're like, no, not interested. I am not going down that journey. I'm not taking my staff there, and I'm definitely not taking my clients there. So we never went there. An American company reached out to us called Lyra. VC backed, don't hide that. They have a model. Their ethos is, how do we keep the company going for 100 years? That might be a long reach. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. They reached out and they said, look, you're in the sweet spot that we buy in. We're not bringing you into a big IT company. We're not like consolidating your staff. Like you guys will still run it. You'll have an earn out period and you can do what you want to do after that. So we spoke to them and we kind of liked what they were talking about. My kids were never going to run the business. I wouldn't put them through the stress and the drama that you've got with that. Let them find their own path forward. Francis didn't really want that for his kids either. It was like, it's a hard journey. It's tough. A good one, rewarding, but it's tough. So we thought, do you know what? Let's have a look at this. So we spoke to them and it was actually pretty good. They just basically bought our shares out and put us back in to run it. I knew Francis at some point would want to leave. I wasn't sure where my journey would go next. Like you never know, it's uncertain. It's like, is this going to work out? Is it not? It's stressful. What am I going to do to my staff? What are they going to think? What are the customers going to think? So we went through with the acquisition and I'll be honest, it's been phenomenal so far. They've been supportive. They really like the way we run the business, like really like the way we provide service, the way our roadmaps all work, the structure we've got in the business, the infrastructure, which I talk about all the time to protect clients, to protect ourselves, the standards that we deploy out. They love that sort of stuff. So they've been amazing for us, really, really good. Francis, 6 months ago, decided the journey for me ends here. Thought, do you know what? Fine. We still run a small business together. It's low maintenance, low management. It's just a building that we own, which Certum rents. So we're in there, still speak to him on the daily. We still text each other. We still kind of discuss business, although there's less pressure on him. So now they've made me the CEO of it. Whatever that role means, you're still running the business, still doing what you do day to day. But they've been really good for us, really, really good. We've leveled up, I would say, and gone to the next level with them. They're now investing into us. They're buying back into the business. It's not just take. So areas that we've never been able to afford as a business before, a certain calibre of staff to come in, they're now saying, well, I'll rephrase that. We've got a good calibre of staff. But in a certain marketplace, you need to be able to go to market at a certain level. We've never really invested heavily in that area. It's always been either the business owner or you bring people in to do it, and it never quite works out the way you want it to work. And then you get that thing where they leave and then they try and steal all your clients and you through that whole process. It always happens. And then, so they came to us and said, look, we've got data. They own 125 MSPs. That's their model. They keep them isolated. They're not interested in one big company. So they've got the data. The part that I never ever got before was to speak to competitors to say, how do you do it? Like, this is how we do it. Because then 2 months later, they're in the market doing exactly what you do, and all the extra special things you offer clients, they're doing it, and they're trying to do it at half the price, and they're doing it at half the service. So I've now got an audience, which is really good. So I can go to these 125 companies that they open, and I can say, right, how do you guys do this? How do you do that? What products are you using? What's the best in this? And you get real world feedback, which is really, really good. And then you can take that feedback and go, well, would that work for us? Would that work for us? Right, okay, what about over there? We could do that, yep. And it starts to feed itself in slowly. So that's been really, really good. And the investment in the new staff that we've got coming in now is really good as well. So that'll take us to the next leg up, which is good.
I think that peer-to-peer is so important. And I think, again, whether it's a Scottish thing or it's like people keep things so closely guarded, but actually, you might have someone else that works in a slightly different area, or do find someone that works down south, or connect with them and see if you can share ideas, because it's amazing how much you can get from that you have,
honestly,
waste so much time doing it and implementing it and then go. Okay, that didn't work. I could have told you that didn't work. We tried it 2 years ago.
I know. So this is where it's really good. So like for so it's called the new role that we brought in as VP of Growth. What we're looking for is a person that comes in. It's not a big-headed thing. It's just like, I've done it so long. You know your market. You know what you do. I don't sell. I just talk about what we do, and it comes across as like that sounds like what we need. That's pretty cool. Let's do it. They want somebody else that comes in and understands a business, not somebody that understands what a financial package looks like at the back end of it, like what I can earn this month. They want somebody that comes in at director level, somebody that's run a business, somebody that's at that level that understands what makes it tick and the impact of not making it tick. Bums on seats Monday morning, you're not working for 2 hours. What does it cost you as a business? What does that look like when it's maybe month end or it's tax return time or whatever it is? Pressure's on. We don't, like you need somebody that understands what that impact is, and it's not just somebody going, oh well, I'll put it over to the help desk for you. You can't do that. Like when you're going to market like this, you need to be able to understand at that level what this looks like and what the offering that we have is. So we brought that person in. I need to empty my brain now into him to say, right, this is how you go. And I like so far, amazing, absolutely, I'm mega impressed. So that next leg up from him looks really, really good.
And you talked there about the landscape looking really exciting for the next 10 years or maybe more.
Yeah.
What kind of things are you expecting?
So, our owners, I have got an amazing relationship with, right? They work with me, like when they need me, they reach out to me. They leave me to go on with the job. They know what I can do. They know our capabilities. They let us run. They're good. I have a meeting with them once a week. So they went out to all the businesses. So at the moment, there's 125 businesses. Their plan is to buy another 50 this year. So one a week. They're aggressive on it. UK-speaking English countries is all they're going for. They've got massive growth plans. How do they grow that business and all those models underneath it? And it's expensive to like keep going to market. So they came to all the 125 businesses and said, look, we've got a proposal. We want, for those that are maybe interested in it, to what an MSP looks like next. And this is what we're thinking. And the investment's going to be significant into that business. So they're picking 3 businesses. We're down to the final 5. And it's looking really positive. And I don't want to say we've got it, but I'm waiting on a phone call today to say yes or no, that we might have it. So it's really exciting. And it's a big investment. It's an investment that as a business, I could never have done. It's probably circa 2 million quid. So it's a big investment into us. We turn over about 8. So it's a big investment into the systems. The benefit will be for my staff and for my customers will be massive. It will change the landscape of what an MSP looks like. We'll completely radicalise it, and out the competition will just be in the wind, completely in the wind. So I'm really looking forward to it. I can't go into too much of what it is. It'll maintain jobs. It'll make sure service is quicker. It'll make sure it's all interacted into the business from first line right the way through to account management. And it'll be phenomenal if we get it. And I've got everything crossed that we get there. So it'll be amazing.
I'll make sure when the episodes go out that we'll write in the text if you got it or not.
I will, yeah. I will. I should hopefully know today.
Good. Well, look, thanks for joining us. It's been really interesting to hear your story. Good luck with your phone call today.
Hopefully it will go to plan.
We always finish off just by asking you, what's your guiding principle in business?
Good question. Never give up. If you think you've got the right plans and you're doing the right thing, never give up. Like, no matter what it takes, just keep going. If you're going on a journey, keep it going. Don't back off. Don't back out of it. Be honest. Have loads of integrity in the things that you're doing. Be willing to say no when you have to say no. You can't do everything. People respect you saying no as well. Like when it's time to say no, say no. Encourage your staff to grow massively. Make them part of the journey if you can. Look after your customers because they're what feeds the business. I think that's probably it. Just keep going.
Thanks for joining us. You've been brilliant.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.